So Andrew, you've just voted. What goes into an election day for you?
Well, this is the last day of a lot of hard work, but it's a very important day. I mean, you can campaign your heart out for 12 months, but at the end of the day, you've got to make sure someone puts the right number in your box, in there on their ballot paper. So this is where we have hundreds of volunteers at the booths handing out how to vote cards. I'm here. I got a good pitch. I just simply walk up to people and say, "Please vote for me." And they seem to like that.
What time does your election day start?
It started early today. My first media was at 7:30. Although it might have started about 3 a.m. this morning when I woke up and couldn't get back to sleep, worrying about the day ahead.
So Andrew, it's been a long day of campaigning for you. The polls have just closed. What's your feeling going into the vote count?
I think I'm still quietly confident, but having said that, I've had a few reports from some volunteers on some booths today saying didn't go maybe as well as they'd hoped.
What's the general feeling been with the public? How are they feeling when they meet you and greet you?
On balance, really good response today. But I suppose you'd get that, being the candidate here all day, they don't expect to see you here.
The Election Project.
Election 2030. Australia decides.
This is Your Call 2030.
So Andrew, it's been a couple of hours since those polls closed and there has been a massive swing towards you. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty pumped. I held off declaring victory for a little while. I wanted to get a fairly sizable chunk in, but when I added the fairly early results to what my scrutineers were telling me, it was pretty clear I'd pulled it off with a pretty comfortable margin.
Well, congratulations on that. And looking at the results coming in from the AEC, the swing against Labor and the Greens down here in Denison has just been incredible. Is that something you thought would happen? And
look, I had a fair bit of anecdotal evidence it would, but I want to say one thing. I want to make it very clear. The Labor Party, the Liberal Party, the Greens, they put up good candidates. Tonight's result doesn't reflect anything on them. I think it reflects the way the parties have let down their candidates. No wonder a lot of people are pretty sick and tired of politics and politicians and political parties. The parties need to lift their game.
Kevin Rudd has just conceded, and so Tony Abbott is the Prime Minister-elect. What's it going to be like to work under Tony Abbott as Prime Minister?
Look, I've got a tough job ahead of me. I understand that, because Tony Abbott will have a clear majority in the lower house. Now that's fine, but what is required now are people like me to hold him to account. And it will be easier to do that as an experienced crossbencher than, say, a new backbencher in opposition.
Andrew Wilkie there on Election Day. He joins me now on the phone. Andrew, there's been a week of Parliament. How's it been going so far?
G'day, Matt. Well, it's still it's too early to tell, really. 1 week down, and it's a short sitting week because we lost a whole day to the swearing in and all the carry on. Remains to be seen what this Parliament will look like. But there I am with Bob Katter sitting on my left and Clive Palmer sitting behind me. So,
oh, wow.
An interesting landscape for me personally.
What's it been like for you watching the AEC, and obviously they're having some troubles in WA as well. What's it been like for you to watch those results come in and potentially being challenged and all that sort of stuff?
Well, I've been thrown a bit because my experience with the AEC is that they are a very professional organisation. They are world's best practice, and no wonder the AEC goes to other countries and helps them with their elections. So to hear some of the allegations by Clive Palmer up in Fairfax, and now to learn that they acknowledge they've lost a lot of votes in WA, is very surprising, very disappointing. They're going to have a bit of a job to do to win back the public's trust, I suspect.
And I guess if the High Court does rule that another election, as it were, was required in WA, that would sort of be a referendum on how the Abbott government is progressing with their stand on some of the policies.
I think there will be lessons to be drawn from the outcome of that poll if it does in fact occur. Because people will have seen the Abbott government for, so many months, half a dozen months. They will have learned about, a bit more detail about the Abbott government's policies. The electorate will have had more time to think about the consequences of some of those policies. For example, repealing a price on carbon. So yeah, there will be some very interesting lessons to draw from the result of any ballot if we have another ballot.
Now, Tony Abbott has already come out with his election promises of stopping the boats and repealing the carbon tax. Obviously, they haven't been fully realised yet, but he's certainly making strides towards that. What's your feeling towards what he's doing as Prime Minister?
I share ownership with a whole lot of those reforms of the last Parliament. My vote was crucial for putting a price on carbon. I've been a very outspoken advocate for a more compassionate response to asylum seekers. So with these sort of flagship policies of the new government, the new Prime Minister, I disagree with them very, very strongly. I would like him not to succeed in getting his promises realised. Having said that, when the new Senate sits in about 8 months' time, he may well have the numbers to, for example, repeal the carbon tax.
It's certainly interesting times in Australian politics, isn't it, Andrew?
Sure is, Matt.
Fantastic. Well, we really appreciate your time on election day and today via phone. Really appreciate it. And Andrew, good luck.
Thanks, Matt. Good on you.